The bins are in the closet, the labels are on the shelves. The baskets line the pantry in a row that looked exactly like the ones online. And still, 3 weeks later, the counter is covered again. The drawer won't close. The pile on the chair has returned, as if it never left. Maybe you bought a book after that, or watched a new set of videos. You tried the 1 in 1 out rule, the capsule wardrobe, the 27-item declutter sprint. And each time, for a little while, it worked. Then it stopped, and somewhere in the quiet of another cluttered Sunday morning, a thought arrived that felt worse than the mess itself. Maybe the problem is you. It isn't. What if the real problem was never your home, and never your discipline? What if every system you've tried was built for someone else's life, and you've been measuring yourself against a version of order that was never designed for you? This video is about a Japanese concept that explains why minimalism fails so many people who genuinely want it to work. And it offers something different. Not a new set of rules, but a way of returning to what your home actually needs to feel like. Stay until the end, because the final idea is the one that tends to make everything else click, and it requires almost nothing. There is a word in Japanese, datsuzoku. It means literally freedom from convention, liberation from habit. The breaking of established patterns not out of rebellion, but out of awareness. In traditional Japanese art and philosophy, datsuzoku describes the moment when something transcends its own expected form. When a garden stops being arranged and starts being felt. When a room stops following a rule and starts following a life. Applied to the home, datsuzoku offers a quiet diagnosis. Most minimalism fails because it is conventional. It borrows someone else's aesthetic, someone else's method, someone else's definition of enough. And when that borrowed system doesn't hold, the person holding it tends to assume the failure is personal. Datsuzoku says otherwise. It says the convention was the problem, and it invites something more honest in its place. The first thing datsuzoku asks is, whose version of minimalism are you following? There is an image of minimalism that travels well. White walls, empty surfaces, precisely 3 objects on a shelf. It photographs beautifully and spreads quickly, but it carries within it a set of invisible assumptions, a certain household size, a certain income, a certain kind of daily life. When that image becomes the standard, minimalism stops being a practice and becomes a performance. And performances are exhausting to maintain because they require you to keep looking like something instead of actually living. Real simplicity does not look the same in every home. It looks like the version that makes your specific life easier. Sometimes that includes a full spice rack. Sometimes it includes children's art on the refrigerator. Sometimes it includes books stacked by the bed. The question is not whether a thing is minimal. The question is whether a thing serves the life actually being lived here. The second idea is subtler. Most organization systems are static. They assume that the home is a fixed problem with a fixed solution. Find the right method, apply it once, maintain it forever. But everyday life is not static. Some days there are 30 minutes. Some days there is almost no energy. Some days unexpected people arrive, or something breaks, or the week simply did not go as planned. A system that does not move with a life will eventually be abandoned by it. This is where a tool like Cozy Home Builder changes something real. Answer a few questions. Get a personalized home plan in seconds, built around your available time, your energy, and what your home needs each day. It's in the first pinned comment, and it's worth looking at. The third idea comes from the way Japanese homes traditionally treat maintenance, not as correction, but as rhythm. In many Western approaches to cleaning, the home is either clean or it needs to be cleaned. There is a threshold, and below the threshold, there is a project. This creates the exhausting pattern of living with accumulated disorder until it becomes unbearable. Then spending an entire weekend restoring what should never have been lost. The Japanese approach, by contrast, treats the home as something that breathes. Small, consistent gestures. A surface wiped before it needs to be wiped. A drawer closed before the pile inside it grows. Not because of discipline exactly, but because the home is understood as something alive. And alive things require tending, not rescuing. The home maintenance tracker that comes with Cozy Home Builder works on exactly this principle. Tasks sorted by daily, weekly, monthly rhythms, so nothing accumulates into the kind of chaos that requires a whole day to undo. The fourth idea is perhaps the most quiet. Datsuzoku suggests that liberation from convention also means liberation from the belief that organizing is something you do to your home. The Japanese view places the person and the home in relationship. What the home reflects says something about the inner state. What the inner state carries shows up in the home. When the space around you is genuinely simplified, something tends to shift inward. And when something shifts inward, the space often follows. This means that the real goal is not a clean kitchen. It is the feeling of walking through the door and not immediately starting a mental list. It is the quiet that comes from knowing where things are, from not carrying the weight of a house that demands attention every time you enter a room. When minimalism is borrowed, it serves someone else's inner state. When it is honest, it serves yours. Which brings everything here back to the same place. The problem was never you. The problem was that the tools you used were built for a fixed life, a fixed aesthetic, and a fixed idea of what organization should look like. And your life is not fixed. It changes by the day, by the season, by the hour. What Datsuzoku offers is not a better set of rules. It is permission to release the rules that never fit, and to build something in their place that actually moves with you. If this resonates, Cozy Home Builder was made for exactly this kind of daily reality. It creates a personalized home plan based on what you actually have today, your time, your energy, the current state of your space. No guilt, no one-size-fits-all routine. Just a clear, realistic plan for this specific day, in this specific life. The home maintenance tracker comes with it, keeping the small rhythms in place so nothing has to become a project. Find it in the first pinned comment or scan the QR code on the screen right now. And when you use it, notice what it feels like to have a plan that was made for your life, not borrowed from someone else's. The home you already have is closer to peaceful than you think.